Okay, so we're starting our unit on polynomials. Let's do a couple of vocab words first. A monomial, you should know the stem mono means one. Monomial is a variable, a number, or it might be a number multiplied with a variable. So it's one term. And we'll talk about what a term means. Some examples. 3x squared is a monomial. Y is a monomial. 7 is a monomial. So these are all examples. Notice there's no addition, no subtraction. -10w is a monomial. So it's one term. So a polynomial is made up of one or more terms being added and subtracted. So once you start seeing addition and subtraction, then you no longer have a monomial. So monomial is just one term. When I start adding it with more, then it's a polynomial. A degree of a polynomial is basically the highest exponent. So for example, if I have a polynomial 4x to the third plus 3x minus 1. First of all, reviewing the word term. This is one term, this is two terms, this is the third term. So there's actually three monomials or three terms. The highest exponent I see is 3. So this would have a degree of 3. One more example. If I have 7x plus 5, the highest exponent is the 1 that we don't see on the x, so its degree would equal 1. If I just have a constant or a number with no variables, the degree equals 0. So it's technically the highest exponent on a variable. Okay, number of terms is just how many monomials are being added or subtracted together. So we need to know these things so that we can actually classify or name polynomials, which is what the table is going to show us. And as I'm going through these, I'm going to actually give examples. So, for the first one, the number of terms over here. So monomial we know is 1, binomial is 2, trinomial is 3, poly is 4. Or more, sorry, 4 or more. Okay. Now for the degrees. If I have the highest degree of 1, that's linear. My highest degree is 2, or my highest exponent is 2, it's quadratic. If my highest exponent is a 3, it's cubic. And if I have a 4th or more, then you just literally call it 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, etc. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first upper left box. If I have a linear monomial, that means I have one term and it's a variable with a 1 for the exponent. So maybe 4a. That's a linear monomial. Let's move across. I'm going to stick with monomials, but I'm going to give you a quadratic monomial. So that means now my highest variable has to be a 2 exponent. So maybe -3x to the second is a quadratic monomial. Next one across, cubic monomial. So now I need to make sure I have an exponent of 3. So how about w to the third? and fourth degree and up. So let's say we do a 7th degree monomial, then I'll have maybe 10b to the 7th. And I'm going to reiterate the fact that that is called a 7th degree monomial, only because you actually just say the number when it's 4 or more. So those are all monomials because they're just one product, 4a, or negative 3x squared, but they're not being added or subtracted with anything. So they're monomials, one term. Let's move on to binomials. So now we're going to be adding or subtracting two things. So let's do a binomial that's linear. Well, if my highest exponent can be 1, then x minus 5. So x is a monomial, 5 is a monomial. I'm subtracting them, but the highest exponent I see, which is the 1 on that x, makes it linear. A quadratic binomial. So now I have to have a high exponent of 2. So let's say I could do 3a squared, and then I have to add something to it or subtract something in order to make it a binomial. So I'm going to add 5a. I have two terms being added together, so it's binomial, but it's a quadratic binomial. Cubic binomial. 7x to the third minus 4. Two terms, 3 is the highest exponent. Okay, for my binomial, 4th degree and up, I'm going to do a to the 5th plus 3a to the 3rd. And off to the side, I'm going to call it a 5th degree binomial. Okay, trinomials. I need 3 terms. My highest exponent is a 1. Think about this. It's not possible to have 3 terms with the highest exponent of 1 unless I use different letters, but we're going to stick with all the same variable. Because once I do an x to the first, I'm going to go off to the side here. Once I do an x to the first, I can't do anything else except maybe a constant. So the highest I can get is a binomial. So there's no way to get a linear trinomial. And I'm going to go ahead and cross off polynomial because I can't get more than 2 terms. Okay, so let's do quadratic trinomial. That's possible. So quadratic trinomial, about 7x squared plus 7x minus 4. I've got 3 terms for tri, and 2 is my highest exponent. Cubic trinomial. X to the third plus 4x squared minus 2x. 4th degree or up. Let's say a to the 4th minus 3a to the 3rd plus 2a. 3 terms in all of those for trinomial, different degrees. So last one, polynomial, is 4 or more. Is it possible to get a quadratic? Well, let's see, 2 would be the highest one, 1 on the next term, then I'd have to have a constant. There's no way to get more than that. So the highest we can go for a quadratic would be a trinomial. I can definitely do cubic. In fact, I'm going to use the same one above we had for trinomial and just add one more term to it. So maybe plus 1. So now it's got 4 or more in there, which means it's just a cubic polynomial. Last one, 4th degree and up. Let's do the same thing. Let's do the same one above it. I'm going to add an a to the second in there. Go ahead and put that 2a, and maybe I can do one more. Let's do another one. So I have a polynomial, and its 4th degree is the highest exponent that I see. So once I start getting above a trinomial, you can just call them all polynomials, but you can still name the degree. So the correct way to name any of these, you say the degree first, followed by the nomial that it is. Or the omial, I guess. I'll go ahead and put nomial. So degree and the nomial. So a couple examples. Try to decide what would this be. I'm going to look at the degree first, which is a 3 cubic. And the number of terms is 2, which is binomial. So that is a cubic binomial. Okay. On the back of your paper you have some examples to try on your own, so that gives you the name of something. You're just coming up with the actual polynomials themselves. So any variable you want, remember the degree, which is the first word, is your exponent. And then the omial tells you how many terms. Okay, so try those on your own, and then when you get to the bottom, combine like terms. Like terms have to have the same exponents. Be very careful on any ones that you see subtraction, because that negative has to be distributed. I'm going to rewrite letter B as 4x to the third plus 2x squared minus x, because the first one has nothing in front of the parentheses, but the second parentheses is going to turn into minus 5x to the third plus 2x squared minus 7. So that got distributed to all of the signs. It's going to change all of the signs in the parentheses. Now I'm ready to combine like terms. Always remember that the sign in front of something stays with it. So that's a positive 4x to the third and a negative 5x to the third. And I'll let you finish from here.